play.
You said what play?
The player can force the women to get pregnant. Then other men can be called in to join the assaults. Illusion had been making these games for years inside Japan, where adult PC games were barely regulated and rarely sold abroad.
Yo, all going people. All going. It's your boy Jwiz, and today we are reacting to the most disturbing banned video games ever by Simple Paint. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. I'm seeing some games that I already know about. The guy game. The hell is the guy game? What the frick?
Manhunt 2. In 2007,
Oh, I know about this shit. I thought Manhunt was the worst one. What the hell?
a British studio called Rockstar London released a video game called Manhunt 2. The player controls Daniel Lamb, a patient escaping a mental hospital, and kills pursuers using plastic bags, pliers, syringes, and glass shards. Holding the attack button longer triggers worse executions. On the Wii, the player physically acts out each kill.
Damn, so you telling me low-key back in the day kids used to be like exercising that shit, like how to kill a nigga or some shit? Yo, that shit's lit. Well, not lit because I don't think parents would really want their child to really learn like shit. Niggas play Tekken, niggas play Hitman, niggas play GTA. It's old news. I don't think nobody gonna turn into no mass murderer because they playing Manhunt, bro. It can't be that bad. I've never played Manhunt. I've never really seen the game. I've glimpsed it, but it can't be that bad.
By swinging the Wii remote. The first Manhunt had cast the player as a killer making snuff films. It had been banned in Australia and New Zealand 4 years earlier.
Damn.
The UK press had falsely blamed it for the 2004 murder of a 14-year-old boy named Stefan Pakira. Police later confirmed that the victim, not the killer, had owned the game. The British Board of Film Classification refused to rate the game on June 19, 2007. It was the first video game refused in a decade. Ireland's film board did the same, and Germany, Saudi Arabia, South Korea.
My fault, y'all, if y'all hearing like the whole popping in the background. It's July the 4th. By the way, happy 4th to y'all. May the 4th be with y'all. You feel me? Hope y'all all enjoying yourself, but it do got fireworks going on outside, so yeah, apologies for that.
Singapore and Malaysia banned it. The Entertainment Software Rating Board gave it an adults-only rating, which Sony and Nintendo refused to allow on their consoles. In response, Rockstar edited the game, and the ESRB lowered the rating to mature. The BBFC accepted the edited version in March 2008, 9 months after the refusal. But the original adults-only version had leaked online days after the US launch. It is still online today. Play.
You said what play? What kind of play you talking about? Hold up.
2006, a Japanese studio called Illusion.
Oh, them freaky ass niggas? Oh yeah, we already know what this is. Bro, for all of y'all that know that like have VRs and shit, cause I do have a VR, for all of y'all that know about that, what's it called, like Kojo or some joint like that, like I forgot what it is, but as soon as I heard the word Illusion, bro, I knew exactly what these niggas was on, bro.
Released a PC game called Play. The player controls a man who stalks a mother and her 2 daughters through the Tokyo subway and assaults all 3. The youngest daughter is 12 years old. The player can force the women to get pregnant, then other men can be called in to join the assaults. Illusion had been making these games for years inside Japan, where adult PC games were barely regulated and rarely sold abroad. In February 2009...
But you know what's facts, though? You know what's facts? Because they did the same thing with Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive is a cool fighting game, by the way. They did the same thing with Dead or Alive. I think there was like some version of the game like Dead or Alive Extreme Beach, but you could not get it nowhere but Japan, bro. I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting to realize that Japan has some freaky ass niggas, bro. Like some freaky dudes, like the dudes from like Korea, China type shit. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments below. I don't want to do too much on y'all people. You feel me? My fault. Y'all some freaky ass niggas. I ain't gonna tell. I mean, y'all niggas made hentai. You feel me? Y'all niggas made Illusion. You feel me? Like, you know what I mean? Kind of tough. Like, y'all kind of freaky. I get it. Y'all trying to, you know what I mean? And, bro, I'm talking like I know how this shit get.
Activists found the game listed on Amazon UK by a third-party seller. The story spread through the international press within days. Amazon pulled the listing, and UK MP Keith Vaz brought it up in Parliament. Equality Now, a women's rights group, launched a global campaign and brought the case to the UN's Women's Rights Committee. Argentina...
That's Yo, imagine the mindset that people have when it comes to playing these games. Because I'm pretty sure that games like this probably have a story mode. You know what I'm saying? So imagine like the planning and whoever and how many people, even if it's one person, bro. You know what I'm saying? Come up with whatever it is to like make a game like that. Crazy, dog.
Passed a law banning the game by name. Within months, Japan's adult game industry responded. The Ethics Organization of Computer Software banned member studios from making such games in June 2009. Illusion pulled the game and stopped overseas sales, but pirated copies spread through file sharing networks.
Oh, I believe.
2 years later, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in Brown versus Entertainment Merchants Association, a case about violent video games. Justice Samuel Alito described a game where the player assaults a mother and her daughters. He did not name it. KZ Manager. In 1990, anonymous German developers released a video game called KZ Manager. The player runs a Nazi...
Oh, I got it. He just couldn't put it fully. I got it.
Released a video game called KZ Manager.
That's crazy.
The player runs a Nazi concentration camp filled with Turkish guest workers, tracked as numbers, health, productivity, food. The goal is to get as much work as possible while managing supplies and gas chamber space. Prisoners who can no longer work are sent to the gas chambers. Their bodies are stripped of gold teeth for extra resources. The game was illegal under German hate speech laws, so the developers stayed anonymous to avoid arrest. KZ Manager came out just as reunified Germany entered years of anti-immigrant violence. Riots at Hoyerswerda in 1991, Rostock-Lichtenhagen in 1992, and arson attacks in Mölln and Solingen killed 8 Turkish residents. Copies kept spreading throughout, on floppy disks, through underground online message boards, and at neo-Nazi gatherings. Across Europe, the game spread through far-right networks. More versions followed, including KZ Manager Millennium in 1998, which added Jewish and Romani prisoners. Germany's federal office for the protection of the Constitution.
Bro, nah, you know what's funny? I'm gonna have a very controversial take right now. Don't hate me, but I'm gonna keep it a buck. Wouldn't it be better? Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Please do not hate me. I'm begging you, please do not hate me for saying this. But wouldn't it be... I'm gonna still say it anyways. Wouldn't it be better that the games exist and at least they play the games instead of exercising it in person? You know what I mean? Maybe they could get out whatever weird intentions or mindsets they have out there in the game instead of in reality. You feel what I'm saying? But at the same time, you could also argue the case that if anybody does run into it, they would influence them to doing it in real life. Or people who do have that temptation, if they do play, it would feed them. I guess it's a back and forth. I'm just trying to find some good side. You know what I mean? Like, cause it's already bad. Them niggas said you add Jwiz in that bitch. Alright.
The franchise as far-right extremist content. Sharing or owning the game became a crime in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland under laws against Nazi propaganda.
Yo, imagine giving somebody a game could get you arrested, my nigga. Yo, that's some serious ass game. I ain't gonna care.
And hate speech. Prosecutors charged distributors throughout the 1990s. Owning a copy can still lead to fines or jail time. KZ Manager was one of the earliest video games made to spread Nazi propaganda.
Okay, that makes sense.
Decades later, no one knows who made it. The game still spreads today. Super Columbine Massacre RPG. In 2005, an American developer named Danny Ladon released a PC game called Super Columbine Massacre RPG. The player controls Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, the real shooters who killed 13 people at Columbine in 1999. Players walk through the school shooting students and teachers named after real victims. The killers then descend into a Japanese-style RPG in hell. Ladon put it out on April 20th, the Columbine anniversary.
So he made a game to simulate an actual school bomb, whatever. He made a game to actually simulate an actual shooting. Wild.
He used basic game-making software and posted it as a free download. The game included photos of the victims, audio from news reports, and quotes from Harris and Klebold's journals. The game went unnoticed for over a year before gaming forums and news outlets discovered it. Slam Dance Film Festival selected the game for its 2007 Guerrilla Game Maker competition, then dropped it after sponsors pushed back. Major gaming sites removed downloads, and victims' families condemned it. In September 2006, Canadian gunman Kimveer Gill killed 1 student and wounded 19 others at Dawson College in Montreal before turning the gun on himself. Gill had praised the game on his blog and called Eric Harris a hero. 6 years later, Sandy Hook killer Adam Lanza had the game on his computer. Super Columbine Massacre RPG was one of the first video games to recreate a school shooting using actual victims' names. LaDon has defended it as art about media violence. It is still a free download. Custer's Revenge. In 1982,
I'm pretty sure no matter what you try to do, the fact that these games have already touched the internet, you're gonna find them somewhere, some site, some torrent. They call it torrents or some shit like that, right? When you download them games or pirate them, they gonna find it somewhere, bro. Like, best believe somebody has that shit on some hard drive or something, bro.
An American studio called Mystique released an Atari 2600 game called Custer's Revenge. The player controls a naked General George Custer.
Wait, what?
He wears only a hat, boots, and a bandolier slung across his chest. Arrows rain from the sky as he runs toward a Native American woman tied to a pole. When Custer reaches her, the player simulates assaulting her. Mystique made a trilogy of adult games for the Atari 2600.
Bro, way back then, bro? I thought this was recently, bro. I know they had like corn back then, but I didn't know they had like freaky games back then, bro. And then the worst part about it too, games back in the day that had this type of like picture on the front didn't even really match it. It was just like for like drawing in attention or some shit. So for that to literally be that is kind of wild. Bro, we gotta read this. Look at this shit, bro. Like, it literally says Mystique, adult video game cartridge, Swedish erotica. Fam, you know exactly what that means, bro. An adult video game cartridge for use with Atari video game system, not for sale to
Custer's Revenge as the most explicit. The game sold openly in American stores for $49.95.
That's freaking wild.
About $150 today. The crude pixel graphics could not hide the assault. Women's rights groups and Native American organizations led protests, including the National Organization for Women and the American Indian Movement. Within months of release, Suffolk County, New York banned its sale. Atari sued Mystique for putting it on the 2600 without permission, but the lawsuit failed. Major retailers...
You know what's kind of messed up though when you think about it? These games release, right? And we have to ban sales. So that means that a lot of people really don't have problems with these games and buying them shit. Usually games come off because they're not good and they're despicable. Nobody wants to play them. You know what I mean? Almost like the new Saints Row. But these games in particular, I mean, they come out, you know what I mean? They hit the shelves. They seem to be doing very well, which means that whoever's playing the game really enjoying that shit, you feel me? So who do we blame? The game creator or the niggas who's buying the game? Type shit. I just wanted to put that out there. Let's get back to this.
Refused to stock it. The game sold only about 80,000 copies.
You see what I'm talking about, bro? So 80,000 people did not have a problem with this game, bro. 80,000 people didn't have a problem with this game.
Well below normal Atari sales numbers. Mystique quit gaming within a year. The protests against Custer's Revenge set the pattern for the video game controversies that followed. Custer's Revenge was one of the first video games to spark organized mainstream protests in America. It still ranks among the worst games ever made. Original cartridges still sell to collectors today. Postal 2. In 2003, an American studio called Running with Scissors released a first-person shooter called Postal 2. The player controls the postal dude, an unemployed man running errands across a 5-day week in a small town. Errands include picking up milk, cashing a check, and returning a library book. Either path works, complete tasks peacefully, or kill civilians, police, and animals. The player can pee on people and dead bodies, set bystanders on fire with gasoline, and chop off their heads with a shovel. Shoving a gun barrel up a cat's behind turns the cat into a silencer.
What? Nah. Bro, nah, I gotta play this shit. You said what?
Include attacks on marching bands, religious...
Not even like that. I just want to see what this shit looks like, bro. Because the drawings are showing it to be very, very like crazy. I really want to see if it's like that for real, you know what I'm saying?
Crowds and protesters. All this happens during the player's everyday errands. Critics trashed Postal 2 for its crude humor and pointless violence. Senator Joe Lieberman criticized the game in 2003 as part of his campaign against violent video games marketed to kids. New Zealand banned the game outright. Australia refused to classify it, which made it illegal to sell there. Brazil, Malaysia, Germany, and other countries restricted or banned the game in the years that followed. Running with Scissors leaned into the controversy and used the bans in marketing. Postal 2 grew into a cult hit during the late 2000s. The studio kept making sequels and expansions for nearly 2 decades, including Postal 4 in 2022. The game still sells on Steam today. ethnic cleansing.
Shit.
In 2002,
well, I guess that one's successful for the most part. It's just, I think it's just the goriness of this game that people have a problem with. But let's be honest, most games nowadays people don't have a problem with the glory, so it's not really enough to take a game down completely. You know what I'm saying?
an
Manhunt though.
American neo-Nazi organization called the National Alliance released a video game called Ethnic Cleansing. The player controls a skinhead or Klansman gunning down black people, Latinos, and Jews in cities.
Bro, yeah, tell me say the man they make a game, bro. Like, yeah, just up like one of them white that boy, yeah, shoot man down and a kill man. And black man at that, bro. Yo, them man, I want me get brawling upon them, bro. Them money I want me get dark, bro. Them money I want me say, yo, I'ma get things serious and done them boy, yeah. I should know my name in the dark. I should know my name, you know. You saw turn my cap back way, you know, bro. I'ma start Lego shot in, bro. I joke, man. I'm a bad man. I'm not that guy. I'm an average. I'm a regular civilian. My name is Maxwell. So, shit.
Got him!
Streets and subway tunnels. Players use racial slurs while killing. The final boss is
bro,
the Prime
they be
Minister
pushing
of
it for
Israel.
real?
The National Alliance was the largest.
Wait, nah. Yo, these games be pushing it, bro. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of these games probably would survive if it wasn't for them pushing it that extra mile, bro. But them niggas have no remorse whatsoever, bro.
Neo-Nazi group in the United States, and the game was designed as recruitment material. Its founder, William Luther Pierce, had written The Turner Diaries, a novel about a race war. The game came out on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Its price of $14.88 stood for the white supremacist 14-word slogan and Heil Hitler. Mainstream retailers refused to stock it. The game was sold by mail order through the National Alliance's record label, Resistance Records, and at white power events. The Anti-Defamation League and Southern Poverty Law Center documented it as one of the first openly racist video games. Internationally, selling the game was illegal under hate speech laws in Germany, Austria, France, and Canada. It has never appeared on Steam or any console. In 2018, Twitch banned the game from being streamed. 6 months after the game's release, Pierce died of cancer, and without him, his organization fell apart over the following years. His novel, The Turner Diaries, had inspired the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing, where 168 people died. VTech.
That sounds like karma. That sounds a lot like karma. But
Rampage. In 2007, a 21-year-old Australian developer named Ryan Lambourne released a flash game called VTech Rampage. The player controls Sung Hui Cho, the real gunman, through 3 levels of stealth and shooting. Cho chains classroom doors and guns down students and teachers. Lambourne uploaded the game to Newgrounds 3 weeks after the Virginia Tech shooting killed 32 people. Lambourne said he made the game to offend people for a laugh. He demanded $1,000 in donations to remove VTech Rampage from Newgrounds, $2,000 to take it off his website, and $3,000 for a public apology. He later called it a joke. Outrage came fast from victims' families and politicians on 2 continents. An Australian senator launched an investigation, while Lambourne's web host suspended his account within days. But Newgrounds stood by the game. The Recording Industry Association of America hit Lambourne with a cease and desist over unlicensed Guns N' Roses and Collective Soul tracks, forcing a stripped RIAA edition. In 2013, Lambourne released The Slaying of Sandy Hook Elementary, a flash game recreating the elementary school shooting that killed 26 people. That game pushed Newgrounds founder Tom Fulp to pull VTech Rampage after years of defending it. Lambourne said he made the new game to support gun control. Australia's classification board rated VTech Rampage MA15+ and refused to ban it. Copies of the original still float around on mirror sites. Lambourne never apologized. The Guy Game. In 2004, an American studio called Top Heavy Studios released a trivia game called The Guy Game for PlayStation 2, Xbox, and PC. Women on screen answer trivia, and each wrong answer earns the player topless footage. The footage came from real spring break parties Top Heavy filmed at South Padre Island, Texas. A comedian named Matt Sadler hosted the show, and the women in bikinis on screen all went by the nickname Hotties. Top Heavy paid the women $20 each and checked their IDs to make sure they were 18. Gathering of Developers, a Take-Two interactive label, sent copies to stores across the country. A 17-year-old who appeared topless in the game sued Top Heavy in December 2004. She had used a fake ID at South Padre Island, saying she was 18 when filmed. A Texas judge ordered the game pulled from shelves.
Bro, you see what I'm talking about?
Court kept the ban going in 2005. After the ban, Top Heavy released a cleaned-up DVD called The Guy Game, Game Over, which cut all footage of the minor. The fix came too late. The studio shut down soon after. The Guy Game was their only release. Few video games have ever been killed this completely by a single lawsuit. Used copies...
Bro, this why you can't trust some of these shorties, dog. Damn. I mean, this game doesn't seem as bad as the others, bro. It's just some tits.
sometimes show up at gaming conventions for hundreds of dollars. No publisher has tried to re-release it. Hatred. In 2015, a Polish studio called Destructive Creations released a video game called Hatred. The player controls Not Important, a man who sets out to kill as many people as he can before dying. He attacks civilians and police across New York State with guns, knives, and Molotov cocktails.
Damn.
The game is shown in black and white, with only blood in color. Hatred opens with Not Important loading weapons and declaring a genocide crusade against humanity. He moves through suburban neighborhoods, a police station, a train station, and a power plant, shooting everyone. The player can execute kneeling wounded victims with knife stabs, gunshots, or stomps. The game has no story beyond hatred for humanity. Valve pulled Hatred from Steam Greenlight, its indie submission platform, in December 2014, hours after it was posted. Gabe Newell, Valve's CEO, personally apologized to the developers the next day and put the game back. When the full version came out in June 2015, the ESRB rated it adults only.
You don't say.
Only the third game ever to get that rating for violence alone, after Manhunt 2 and Thrill Kill. The rating kept Hatred off PlayStation and Xbox. Twitch banned the game from being streamed on its platform. Destructive Creations leaned into the controversy and kept selling Hatred on Steam. The studio used the outrage to drive marketing, and the game shot to the top of Steam Greenlight's voting charts within hours of being reinstated.
Bro.
Hatred sold over 100,000 copies in its first month on Steam. The studio released a free survival mode update later in 2015 and went on to other games. Steam still sells the game today. Active Shooter. In 2018, a developer called Revived Games announced a Steam game called Active Shooter. The player can take on one of two roles: a SWAT officer responding to a school shooting, or the shooter himself. Playing as the shooter, the player walks through the school shooting students, teachers, and arriving police. The game tracks every kill on a scoreboard. The developer behind Revived Games had been banned from Steam under different names. He scheduled the launch for June 6, 2018. 3 weeks earlier, a gunman had killed 10 at Santa Fe High School in Texas. Earlier still, in February, the Parkland shooting had killed 17 in Florida. Within days, a Change.org petition demanding the game's removal gathered over 200,000 signatures. Parents of Parkland and Santa Fe shooting victims condemned the game, and Florida Senator Bill Nelson called on Valve, Steam's owner, to pull it. Valve removed Active Shooter from Steam on May 29, 2018.
Damn, this is recent too.
The developer defended the game as a simulation. He briefly hosted Active Shooter on his own website, but that also went dark. Valve publicly named him as a developer it had banned before. Active Shooter was one of the earliest games Valve removed from Steam before launch. Steam removed other school shooting simulators in the years that followed. The game has not been seen since. Rape Day. In 2019,
wait, what?
An indie developer called Deskplant listed a visual novel called Rape Day on Steam. The player controls a menacing serial killer rapist who hunts down women to verbally harass, assault, and kill them during a zombie apocalypse. The store page promised 500 images and 7,000 words, including necrophilia, controversial family relationships, and graphic violence. Online petitions to remove the game from Steam gathered tens of thousands of signatures within days, drawing international press coverage. Scottish MP Hannah Bardell denounced it as utterly sickening in UK Parliament. But Deskplant pitched the game as a dark comedy with pornographic elements. Valve had announced just 9 months earlier that Steam...
I still have that same question. How do people come up with these things?
...would allow everything from developers, including adult content.
I really don't...
Outcry forced Valve to...
I really don't have that much to say, but because I'm gonna be honest, I really don't have that much to say right now when it comes to this video, because I'm just so in awe of the fact that, you know, I've had my moments that I've wanted to create a game, you know what I'm saying? But it would only become like an APB reloaded version of like GTA, you know what I'm saying? But for people to have the inspiration and the thought process and the dedication to create these games, bro, these games are not easy to make. Well, not like nowadays where you can just open up Blender and go back and forth between apps on PC where everybody has a supercomputer, but back in the day, bro, that shit was different.
Backtrack on that promise. The company pulled the game on March 6th, just 2 days after the listing went up, citing unknown costs and risks. Their statement never condemned the content itself. After the removal, Deskplant agreed publicly that his game might not be the right fit for Steam and moved it to his own website to sell it directly. He said this might have been a better move from the start. Steam never changed its mind and never put the game back on the platform. Deskplant kept selling it through his website. The game is still for sale today. If you'd like to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and feel free to drop suggestions for the next video in the comments.
Bro, one thing for sure, respect to this man be getting all his research. I ain't gonna cap. I don't know where he gets it from. But that was the most disturbing banned video games ever. I'm not gonna lie, the worst one for me still would have to be the grape play and also the flipping, what was it, the Z manager or some shit like that. Those two are the craziest ones for me, bro. Let me know down in the comments down below what you guys think as well, because I feel like these niggas is really tripping. But I will see y'all in another video. You know what I'm saying? More videos to come, more reactions to come, more videos everywhere else. And do check out the other channels. I feature them all on this channel. The gaming channel, our channel, the vlogging channel. Check them all out. But without further ado, I'm going to see y'all. Peace.